Hey everybody, what's up? I'm back again. This is Bit Informant, and I wanted to cover a few topics today. The first one is obviously Bitcoin Cash. Right here I have the Bittrex exchange page open up, showing an incredible 55,000 daily volume, BTC volume on this coin. Right now it's trading at a third of a Bitcoin, which is pretty ridiculous. Bittrex says that's about $922, which puts the total price, let's check what Bitcoin is at the moment. So $2,700. That would put the total price of your combined Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, which every Bitcoin holder who held their private keys gets, would put you at about over $3,500 of Bitcoin combined. But there's a big catch in all this. Let's look at the blockchains for the two coins. At btcforkmonitor.info, you can see that the current Bitcoin Core, the legacy real Bitcoin chain, is at 478,717 blocks. The division yesterday was at block 478,558, and they're only at 478,570. It took them about 5 hours to get their first block. That puts us, what is that? That's 12 blocks they've mined in the last 24 hours. So that means their network is going very slow. Blocks aren't getting confirmed. Bitcoin confirms about 6 blocks an hour. That's what it tries to achieve. Now back to my gotcha point. Bitcoin Cash is trading so high right now because unless you had your Bitcoin on an exchange prior to the fork and then were credited Bitcoin Cash as well as your Bitcoin after the fork, then that's the only Bitcoin Cash that's being traded. All other Bitcoin Cash is waiting to be deposited on these exchanges right now, but none of the exchanges are allowing deposits, and that's because they only have 12 blocks in their blockchain. And a lot of these exchanges want to play it safe. They're going to want at least 10 to 20 confirmations on a Bitcoin Cash deposit. When their blockchain only has 12 blocks, it's at least 24 to 48 hours before I think any Bitcoin Cash is going to arrive on the exchanges. And so that means there's a supply shortage on the exchanges. And what happens in basic economics when there's a supply shortage and there's a demand increase? Well, you have a price rise, and that's, I think, what's happening with Bitcoin Cash right now. If everyone was able to send their Bitcoin Cash into the exchanges and get 0.3 Bitcoins each, I think a lot of Bitcoin people would do that. I know a lot of people in Bitcoin. I don't know very many who support Bitcoin Cash other than just another altcoin and an experiment. I mean, most people I know don't look at Bitcoin Cash as actual Bitcoin. So most people I know look at Bitcoin Cash as, wow, I have 10 Bitcoins and they're trading at a third of Bitcoin each. Why, that's 3 more Bitcoins I could get, either to keep them as Bitcoin or to invest into altcoins. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but I'm part of that group also. I mean, Bitcoin Cash might pump higher than we think. That happens a lot of the time. But right now it's a bunch of free money. And I don't know, just let's go look at Via BTC's website for a second. I know I had that up here somewhere. That's not it. Here we go. So viabtc.com, actually I'm at pool.viabtc.com. I mean, just look at their webpage here. They have a BMW splashing out of the screen with GIFs popping out and iPhone shooting out with confetti. I mean, I just don't take this exchange very seriously. It looks pretty scammy to me. I've never used it. I'm sure it's not a total scam. I know it's a real exchange, and it's actually a real pool with a lot of hashing power behind it. But an interesting thing is they show they're mining Bitcoin with 312 petahash and only Bitcoin Cash with 71 petahash. I don't know what that dumb warning is. And so they've mined 52 Bitcoin Cash from, spending the last 24 hours on there. So they're actually losing money that they would make more money if they took that 71 petahash and put it towards Bitcoin to mine Bitcoin and sell that off or whatever they do. But they do have 71 petahash directed over at the BTC pool, so significantly less than what they're directing over at the original Bitcoin pool. So that's something to take into note here. That's a much better splash screen right there, I think, than that one. Yeah, guys, when people start talking about Lambos and that kind of stuff, Lamborghinis, that's a sign of a top to me. I don't like it. So when you go on Twitter and you see people talking about the Lambos they're going to buy, that's not a good thing. So yeah, check out btcforkmonitor.com to stay updated with, Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Cash, Bcash. Somehow I think it was Bitcoin Unlimited before that. That might be wrong, but it's confusing following this chain. It happened so quickly, and I don't know really what will happen with it, but I don't have very much confidence in it. But anyway, now I think there was... Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the block explorer for Bitcoin Cash real quick. So like I mentioned, we started at block 478,000, and I believe it was 558. Now we're at block 400, let's just refresh this page. Yeah, so we're at block 478,570, and I can't figure out how to show more than the last 3 blocks, but I was looking at them earlier. Let's see here. So maybe status. No, last block, blocks. Oh, here we go. So 58, where's 58 at? So I believe, yeah, if we look at BTC Fork Monitor, their most recent forking block height was 478,559, so I think they diverged at 58. So we can see that all their blocks so far up to 67, that was yesterday, I don't see any over a megabyte. Here's one that's over a megabyte. So they mined their first block that was 1.9 megabytes, which Bitcoin would not allow because they're capped at 1 megabyte. So here's their first megabyte block, and that's the only one they've had since then. And the rest of the blocks are significantly lower than a megabyte. Here's 0.4 megabyte, 0.46, 0.1 megabyte, 9 megabyte. So these are pretty small blocks. So far the big blocking agenda, really hasn't done much. But maybe there's not a lot of transfers happening at the moment. So you can see transactions, but we'll see how this plays out. So keep an eye on that. Check out this website. That's blockdozer.com to see the Bcash Block Explorer. And keep an eye on this price. I believe once the floodgates open on the deposits, I just don't see how the price can sustain at this level. I mean, you guys know how expectation versus reality actually works out, and just because I think it's not going to go up, who knows, it might go up and reach parity with Bitcoin and even go over parity with Bitcoin, meaning that 1 Bitcoin Cash is worth more than 1 Bitcoin. And you're going to have a lot of Bitcoin people freaking out, and I hope that doesn't happen, but maybe it will. And that gets into the whole question of, what the hell does market cap even mean? That's just the number of shares in existence multiplied by the last exchange price. So I could go create Bitinformant coin, 10 million of them, and go sell one of them for $1, and now the market cap is $10 million, right? That doesn't make any sense. So keep in mind that just because over here at, we can go to CoinMarketCap. Just because CoinMarketCap says Bitcoin Cash is the number 3 in all crypto, right? With the market cap at over $10 billion. I mean, that doesn't mean, there's a hole in that logic that, market cap doesn't mean everything. How do you factor in the illiquidity of it? So keep that in mind. Keep an eye on this price. Until deposits open, we might see parity with Bitcoin, and that's going to be an absolute ridiculous thing. So, oh yeah, another thing to notice is on volume here. Look at Bittrex has 56,000 Bitcoin volume on this one coin. And I was just looking at a post from Twitter, and today they did, in the last 24 hours, Bittrex did more dollar volume than Poloniex had done, which the tables are turning. Poloniex used to be the big altcoin exchange, the biggest one, doing the most volume with the most people on it. But their site became slow and underperforming, and as they gained more users, they didn't put that profit into upgrading their servers and back end, and they didn't do a good enough job. So long story short, they lost a whole bunch of users to Bittrex, and now we're seeing them overtake them, and I think that's a great thing. Better competition, and you have to fight for it. You have to give the best services to get the most customers. Keep them. So keep an eye on Bitcoin Cash. Obviously that's the most important thing happening right now. Hopefully we'll see those block times increase, more blocks get put in, and deposits starting to hit those exchanges, and a real price form instead of this price right now. So let's move on to another thing I want to talk about, and that's NEO. NEO is rebranded from antshares, which is sort of like China's version of Ethereum. So it was antshares prior to just recently. Let's see here on their timeline. They started rebranding to NEO sometime recently in like June, I think. And August 8th, they're going to launch all their protocol upgrades. According to their blog post I have here from July 27, 2017, they're finalizing the platform to NEO 2.0, and by August 8th, all exchanges shall recognize the compliance and upgrade. You can read on to see their process to upgrade the protocol. And it's a pretty recent post. So it's always curious to go over to Bittrex and look at ANS, which is still antshares on the exchange, because everything's not updated yet, and that's what August 8th will be. So you can see in June here there's a massive buy up in the price. Prior to that it was consolidating in a region with almost no volume. You can look at this whole chart. You don't see any volume on this chart until about June. I think this is when the NEOS release was announced, the rebranding. And then you could see the price form in this shockwave consolidation forming between these two diagonal trend lines. They converge, around August 16th. So here's August 8th where my cursor's at. So I expect, some consolidation here, and then honestly, if everything goes well with this rebranding and the NEOS platform getting launched and the website getting launched and all that happening, there should be a nice increase in price. Now, not everything is always bullish, and there is a bearish scenario that does happen. So if things don't go right, you could see a price decrease and it falls down below here, and that's when you have to reevaluate your trading strategy and your risk management and all that stuff. I mean, that's the whole philosophy of crypto, guys. If you haven't picked up on this yet, is you're responsible for your own decisions. There's no one to complain to if something doesn't go your way. You're in charge of yourself, and you take your own risks. You make your own decisions. I'm only here to give my opinion and what I think, and I have a trading strategy that works for me, and it doesn't always work out. It works out pretty well, and I have good risk management, and that's how I've been able to survive. So you guys need to develop those tools yourselves. Don't just copy anything anyone says on the internet. Make sure you do your own research and have plans in line either direction. So with that crap out of the way, I think it's going to consolidate here, and with a successful news launch and everything, it'll probably increase in price. I don't think in this case we're going to see the sell on news, but it might. Keep that in mind. So back to their site, just take a look what they've got going on here. They've got, you know, over 400 nodes. They have a pretty deep blockchain. They have their mainnet running for, I believe that's, yeah, days, 290 days. They have over 1 million blocks. So it seems like a pretty stable blockchain already. So yeah, I recommend checking out neo.org. For the English version, it's neo.org/en-us, so English. And that's good. They have an English and Chinese version of the web page that shows, you know, they're targeting English and Chinese speakers. So, you know, it could be a big barrier to entry if this website was, you know, all in Chinese here, and I couldn't understand anything about it. So here's Google Translate. I guess they translate it too, so that's good. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out. Keep an eye on this price. Check out this blog post, follow it, do your own research, figure that out, just bring it to the table. Another thing I want to bring up, I brought this up before, but I think it's another opportunity to bring it up. WCX, you can get a free airdrop of, I think it's 200 tokens. Each token is worth about $0.1. So you get about, what, 20 bucks if you sign up of tokens. And I think they'll be held in this account until they do their ICO on... ICO is September 9th, and they have a beta coming out a week before that, so it's good to see a beta coming out before the ICO. That's really good to see. I like that. That'd be really cool. They have a nice beta launch, and then they have an ICO. Now, keep in mind that this free airdrop is happening now, which is prior to the ICO. So you have a chance to get some free coins now, and then, you know, FOMO in later and buy into the ICO, and if it's going well. And it looks like they launched their platform later this year in November, and hopefully everything is up and running, you know, Q1 of next year. So 2018, hopefully everything's up and running. I gotta figure out what that is. So you can read more about their whole gimmick here. They have a low exchange fees on, you know, digital currency exchange. They have a little calculator here. You can calculate, say for example, you hold 20 million coins, sorry, 20,000 coins, and their new exchange does a daily volume of $250 million. Well, they estimate you're going to get a monthly payment of $30. So that's passive income as long as the exchange is doing business and exists, and you get that indefinitely. So, and I think $250 million is in the region of what Bittrex gets. So if they became a pretty good exchange, that's a reasonable number to look at. Sorry, I got to get a drink of my coffee here. So right now, I'll put my referral link down in the description below. Now you can click on that if you want. You don't have to use it. I'm just putting it there. It will help me out. I get, you know, honestly, I don't know how much I get for that. It's not very much, but you get like 200 coins. I've had, I don't know how much I get for that, but you get like 200 coins. And I've had about 10 friends join. And I have a balance of 1,900 so far. So let's put 1,900 in here and see what I would actually get. So that's $2 a month with their calculator. So that'd be cool if I got up to what, the 10,000, what, that should be $15 a month. Yeah, $15 a month. So I don't know, something to check out. You can get in it. It's no cost to you. You just have to supply an email address, and I see that almost 170,000 people have signed up for this. Maybe they're all real email addresses and not duplicate accounts from the same people, but that's a lot. So I don't know, look into that yourself. Another thing I just want to throw on the radar is Lisk. Lisk has, I think, some announcements coming up. They are also kind of a, you know, another Ethereum competitor, but this time I believe their source code is written in a way on, I think it's written in Java, so that anyone can just start. It's open to more developers immediately to program as opposed to, say, Ethereum. I don't know. I don't know much about Lisk, but I've just thrown it out there. I think there's something to look into, do your own research on that. And let's just check out Twitter real quick. You know, this guy's always pretty good on his calls. Looks like a pretty bullish chart in the whole grand scheme of things. That's library credits, I believe. You guys can go look into that one if you want. So it looks like there's some talk via BTC is mining regular blocks again. I'll have to look into that. I did hear the other day, or sorry, yesterday, that some of the blocks being mined on the Bitcoin Cash chain were actually signaling SegWit, which the whole point of Bitcoin Cash is to get rid of SegWit, so I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if that was true, but anyways, that was pretty funny. Yeah, I saw this chart earlier. So here's Bitcoin Cash, and it's, you know, trading at a third of a Bitcoin right now. This guy thinks maybe in the next day it's going to reach parity with Bitcoin, and all hell will fall from the sky if that happens. So that would be interesting. I don't think parity could ever happen when when Bitcoin Cash deposits are not allowed. So once the supply hits those exchanges, I just don't see how their prices could ever be maintained. But, you know, this is crypto. Crazy shit has happened. I'm not going to ever be absolute on anything. You'd get your ass owned doing that. So, alright guys, well, I just wanted to update you on those things today. And if you liked it, please subscribe, like. You can follow me on Steemit as BitInformant, and I'm also on Twitter as BitInformant. If you have any comments you'd like to get out, you know, any things I've said incorrectly, any things you'd like to add or suggest, anything you want to say, please put it below in the comments. Also check, I have that WX referral link down in the comments if you want to sign up for that. Alright, well, I will catch you guys next time. See you later.